I grew up wanting to build something that mattered. I dreamt big, got let down, tried again. And in 2021, I won. $2,500 turned into $1.5 million on a single bet. When money hits like that fast, life becomes a blur. And no one tells you it leaves the same way it comes. In a blink of an eye, it was gone. My future, my present, my past, all in one moment. The one chance I had to set up generations after me, gone. But that was 5 years ago. The goal hasn't changed, but I have. And these vlogs started as a way to keep me alive, but now they're proof I'm still becoming someone worth watching. Welcome back to the archives of a Shiba Millionaire. Are you ready for this video? I don't even think you guys know what date it is. 1 second, let's see. Fuck, man. It is March 21st. I think the last video that I made was like a month ago. The reason being is, well, there's a couple things, but yeah, it's crazy. So yeah, it's March 21st, gonna be the 22nd in a little bit here, and Bitcoin is at 84,000. So it kind of ran up a little bit. Ethereum is at a delicious, or not delicious really, sub $2,000, so 1989. And now that that's out of the way, so crypto's not really doing that great, but what's going on? Why has it been so long? There's a couple things. So let's go back really quick. I don't know if I mentioned prior what was going on with work. So also new haircut. I couldn't stand having my scalp all messed up, so now it's back to the way it was. I just buzz cutted and I got an actual haircut right after. But okay. Yeah, so there's been like a lot of tariff stuff and stuff like that recently, and because of this, and thankfully I'm forward looking and stuff like that, so I always have like a backup plan regardless of the situation. I always think 2 steps ahead of whatever's going on. So I was already starting to see things start to hit the fan and questioning certain things, but essentially, your boy got laid off. It's not the first time. Okay. It's not the first time, but something that I kind of already knew that would happen. Just based off of things I was seeing, the slowness in the season, the slowness of the leads, the just small telltale signs. My company had 3 other companies that they just shut down, and I was like, huh, weird, interesting. And you start to see the signs and then you start to make a plan. Or at least if you think are more forward looking, you start to make a plan. So that's what I did. I was already starting to just check on things, figure out my options, stuff like that. So yeah, very short lived, going from AT&T to gutters, and then gutters for like 4 months, and then basically unemployed again. But there is hope along the horizon. As of recent, so that happened, by the way, 2 weeks ago. So 2 weeks from today is when all that stuff happened. And as of a week ago, I applied for Tesla as a robotics person. I had to sign an NDA, so I can't really say anything aside from that. But if you know, you know. But anyways, I applied for that, had an interview 4 days ago, then did another interview 2 days ago, and then I have an interview at the last interview. Usually it's like 3 interviews. It's kind of crazy. I have another interview on Monday, which is actually going to be at the actual facility. So, your boy might be, and it's good because, like I said, you always try to move up, right? And there's always opportunities, and one door, something that Rosario taught me, which I always keep with me, and even she tells it to Frank, is that when one door opens, or when one door closes, 10 doors open, right? You always got to be open, and I always keep that with me now because when you when you try to think about opportunities, a lot of people get too scared. Um, they love being stuck, in where they are because they're comfortable. And, thankfully, I'm not one to really like being comfortable too often. I actually like change to some degree, um, in a sense, or at least I'm more adaptable. I wouldn't say I like change. I actually hate change a lot, but over the years, I've learned to mimic my surroundings, become more adaptable, think ahead so that way you don't have to. I think for me, I tend to cope, or not cope, but I tend to cope with my ability to really not want to adapt or like to stay in a pattern and stuff like that with forward thinking so that way I could layer my forward thinking on top so that way I don't even have to worry, right? Because if you think forward and you think of all the possibilities, then if something bad happens, you're not left to just think about it. You have to, you already have a plan already made, so you're good, you know? Mentally, it keeps me grounded. So, it's what I generally do. You make budgets, you make lists, you make goals that you want to achieve. Like, I do all that stuff. It's kind of tedious, but I like to multitask, so it's cool. Um, and yeah, so it's just one of those things where sometimes things work out. Hopefully it does work out. If it does, the pay is gonna be pretty nice. It's gonna be a very consistent, not too high from what I was getting paid in sales, but also not too low. It's gonna be like that very nice higher end sweet spot, which would be nice because I need something consistent. I think one thing I've realized, and something that you guys should also take in account as well, as far as like just know for the future, as a lesson, a life lesson, besides being comfortable and stuff like that, um, really just make sure that you have something consistent. That it's not something. I think the one thing that I hate about sales, not all sales jobs are like this, but most sales just is super variable, right? Depends on the season, depends on the product, depends on the person, right? And sometimes you can't change how you talk, what race you are, sometimes all these factors determine how hard it's going to be for you to relate to somebody or basically for them to relate to you or talk to you or feel comfortable with you. And I'm sure that everyone can put something out there as like, oh, but if you're good enough, you can. True. But at the same time, the ease of access, the ease of the resistance that's going to be there for somebody who has all the qualities and traits that kind of stack or align is not going to always be there for the other person who doesn't have all that stuff. There's always going to be like a push or pull. But very consistent work that's not variable, doesn't care about environmental stuff, doesn't care about that. It's just, one task or one thing. It's like if you were to work at Chick-fil-A. Chick-fil-A, for example, um, doesn't judge you based off of who you are. You're doing no discrimination. They're gonna treat you the same as a grunt worker, no matter what. It's who you are. But it's consistent pay, right? Same thing for a mechanic. Grunt worker, consistent pay, doesn't matter. Actually, is it variable? No, it's not variable. consistent pay, your hourly wage, blah 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 blah. And so it's things like that that I think more people need to situate their mind over. Like sales is really good to elevate you, get your skills together, conversational, know how to talk to people, know how to sell people, persuade people. I think that's a very good skill that everyone should know how to do, because persuading people and talking to people and socializing and stuff like that, that's what gets somebody, that's like step two, right? In trying to, like, whatever job you get, whatever career you get, whatever you want out of life, there's always going to be some level of socialization. You're going to have to do it, right? And the person who can do that best, if you can master that skill, you don't even have to have money, and you could basically make money just by socializing with people. There's all these stories out there, especially some of the more popular ones, like billionaires basically, or just people pretending to be billionaires. I think Great Gatsby is a very good example, sort of like examples where these people have thrown like parties or whatever just to basically get people, celebrities and stuff in. You talk to these people, these billionaires and stuff like that. You get on their good list and stuff like that, and then that power, that access kind of trickles down, and then you become what you're around. And it's kind of the same for, you know, whatever your goal in life is and stuff like that. You have a way to get there, but like I said, you need skills that will basically help accomplish that. And I think sales is one of those skills that kind of can take you anywhere. And it's one of those things that most people don't go into because they don't want to do all that stuff. They don't want to go through the hassle of like learning how to talk to people, right? And yeah, sure, you could do it as a cashier, but as a cashier, not really, there's no resistance there. Hey, how's your day going today? Cool. You want me to play? Like, there's not really any resistance, right? But sales, you really have to persuade somebody. You have to get to understand the human psyche and stuff like that. So, long story short, try getting into sales as like an entry level, and then find out what you want to do. Consistent, something consistent, not variable. I think sales is really bad if you're trying to make that like a career goal. I mean, unless you're trying to like sell like buildings, or if you're trying to branch that over to like homes and stuff like that, that's cool. But now I'm getting off topic. I blame you guys. Um, but yeah, I think that's something that can help everyone, or anyone really. So I would definitely recommend it, no matter what type of economy we live in the next couple of years when you guys see this video. Um, I think it will help. I think it will help a lot of people if they understood more skills. That being said, um, that was like the biggest thing this month, and so that's the other reason why I haven't really made a video. So I will probably make another video on Monday or Tuesday or Wednesday if it comes out late enough. So that's one thing. Two, creative project. This video series right now that you are watching is being developed. We're roughly about 5 minutes in on like maybe a 20-minute video, somewhere along that line. But anyways, it went from like 10 to 15 to 20 minutes now. So trying to get that intro done. We're trying to get it done before the 4th of April, because I just realized that the 4th of April is actually the 3-year anniversary of when Shiba went crazy. And when I became a millionaire. So, yeah, so that would be really cool to try to get that video out in the next 14 days. I think we have 10 days. No, we have 8, 9, 10, 11. I think we have about 14 days, more or less. So if we can do it within 2 weeks, that would be great. I'm finishing up the montage section of the video. That is the part that I'm working on. and then I'm gonna have my editor, who's super cool by the way and super good, go ahead and edit the rest. So no, that'll be fun. What else have I been doing? I finished the Dialogue of Pause, so that's been cool. Um, that has been like honestly really cool to like just keep on drawing, like having things drawn for. Yami has been awesome with that. Um, right now we just finished one chapter. One chapter right now is about 40 pages. So we may change that to like one chapter is only 20 pages, but right now one chapter is 40 pages. So we just finished 40 pages of dialogue. And hopefully by next month I'll have another 40 pages of dialogue done. We're trying to get to three full 40-page chapters, which is a tough task because right now I'm getting close to like where I actually wrote the draft, so we'll see. So that's been cool. Vendetta's been awesome to work on. I just fully like got my head around how I was going to do the prologue, how V is actually going to get into the world, how he's going to I'm not going to spoil it too much, but how all this stuff is going to interact and who he's going to meet and how he's going to break out of somewhere, blah blah blah. By the time you guys watch this, you guys will already know, but how he's going to actually like break out and get out and stuff like that. It's a super cool concept that I'm trying to develop for this, and I feel like I want to make sure that through my research, I still got to watch some research videos of the people I'm also trying to introduce as well, or reintroduce. I got to do research just to make sure that I'm not going to step over any lines if I introduce other DC characters and stuff that aren't actually my property. So, a lot of things that you have to like look at and look up and stuff for that series since it's DC related and not my uh intellectual property. And then last but not least, so that's been good by the way. And then last but not least, I have the League project that I'm actually still working on. Yesterday I wrote a little bit extra to try to figure out how I was going to rewrite Arcane. If you guys don't know, League of Legends, Arcane Season 1 was perfect. Arcane Season 2 messed everything up. Technically, a little bit of Arcane Season 1 did as well, but the whole thing could be rewritten and repackaged in my new edit. And so I found a way instead of just taking Arcane Season 2 and basically repackaging that into my actual story, kind of doing the same thing with Vendetta, basically repackaging the original story, the original idea, and putting it into a new like container. But Arcane's a little bit different because I'm having to rewrite like a small section in order to get it in to my like thesis of a story, and that's been super fun. It's like taking somebody's sandcastle and basically seeing that there's a flaw in like the architecture and basically having to smash part of it in order to rebuild it. And so that's essentially what I'm doing with both, not both series. I'm not really doing that with Vendetta, but it's nice to have three different projects that are all deal with their own issues, right? Like League deals with its own issue and I have to figure out a way to solve it and navigate the story, and I really like that troubleshooting. Like, how does this work here and how can we make this fit? I love that. Same thing with Vendetta, trying to figure out the pieces and not overstep anything, but keep things within their own universe and stuff like that, while also making things unique and building upon that. So storytelling is a beautiful thing. So all of my writers out there, and if you've read anything in the future, I'm guessing in the next 2 years, there's going to be more stuff coming from Tag Studios and Anyama is our pen name. Um, and hopefully it sticks. Hopefully no one leaves my group. I'm gonna be a sad writer if that happens. Um, but yeah, hopefully people out there 2 years from now read, the stories and stuff that we're building, and enjoy everything and enjoy the comics and stuff that I'll be putting out soon. Hopefully later this year. There'll be some stuff, but might even be early next year. So we'll see. We'll see. But yeah, that's uh, actually not that bad of a video, but it's really just because I offloaded everything in the beginning. Am I doing anything financially into crypto? No. Why? Because I just spent so much. I told you guys last time that I spent so much on my car, and I finished getting my tires done, finished a lot of different weird stuff. Um, and so I have to like figure that whole thing out with my car because I still have another $1,400. Let's just say 1,400 that I have to put back into my car for my let me think. For my lights, like 300, and then for my um engine mounts, or yeah, my engine mounts, I have to put like 1,000 in. So it's like, damn, when is this gonna be over? But thankfully it's just like progressively. So over time I'm just like siphoning through like different things that my car needs. But I got most of it done. I got most of the essential stuff done. So it's not like a headache right now, but I know 2 to 3 months down the line I'm gonna be dealing with some of the same issues. So I'm gonna try, if things go well, I'm gonna try to get everything fixed next month. So yep. So that's the story. That is what's going on. And I will see you guys in the next couple of days to kind of give you guys an update, and hopefully it's a good update. Um, Thus far though, I have been doing DoorDash, Uber, unemployment, stuff like that to keep myself good. So besides that, I will leave you guys with just the good graces for prayer. Um, Hopefully, um, I don't know why the other day I was thinking about my Uncle Lonnie and my Aunt Laura. Forget why. I think it was just like, not because they're not because like the my uncle's birthday passed last month, but just in general, going through some like the footage and stuff like that and the photos and stuff like that. I was thinking about them earlier today as well. But I know they're I would like to hope that they're looking down. They're like, yes, go to that path. Go do what you need to do. You know. Also notice that my uncle, you know, he always talked when. This is kind of off topic, but it's what I thought today, so I'm just gonna say it. I'm going through like some of the photos and stuff for this video that I'm making for the montage and stuff like that. And I have to download all these videos from my Instagram and stuff. And he follows me on Instagram. He's passed away, obviously, but his account still follows me. And I remember earlier today I was going through all his photos, or all my photos, sorry, all my photos, and like not my actual photos, but my animation account photos, and just going through, and I was like, wow, all the way from like 2018, because he was mainly on Facebook before then, so he didn't really have like a account or anything like that. But I just took notice because anytime he would meet me in person, he'd be like, "Oh, your animations and stuff like that, they make me so happy to see," and stuff like that. And I was like, I would always kind of shrug it off or whatever, because it was like, ah, yeah, you've seen maybe whatever I post, but I never really posted, much, right? I never really, I don't know how to explain it. It's like, I was never really proud of my work. I wasn't. And just to see like back from like 2018 that he liked like a lot of my stuff. I didn't realize it until now, but like, 2018 and stuff, like a lot of my art pieces and stuff like that just like has his name and he liked it. And I was like going through, I was like, wow, I didn't even really like I knew that he did in some sense, but I never like really like realized it. So, um, yeah. So prayer goes to, you know, Uncle Lonnie and my Aunt Laura and God, they're looking down. Hopefully, they're guiding me forward to a better future, to my goals, to a happier life, hopefully before 30. Hopefully I could do something within the year because I would really hate it. I think if anything, if I didn't really push a goal, like, push forward with a goal by the end of this year, I'd be really mad. Um, if I didn't do something before I hit 30. Or if I'm 30. I'm okay if it's like I'm 30 and I do it, but because that would be huge. But 30 is when I consider myself like getting past the point where it's like, okay, what have you been doing all this time? Um, and yeah, I can't stand the idea of like being 31 and then doing something. Like, yeah. So we're gonna try to hit 30 and before 30 do something like hit my goal, you know, make the comic a success, have these videos be a success, which would be very ironic. If these, because again, the whole goal here is to get back to where I was. And if the videos are the thing that did that, it's going to be super, super funny. At least to me, I would probably cry if the videos are the thing that basically get me to my goal. Um, yeah, it'd be like a self-fulfilling prophecy. And yeah, I just hope that you guys like these videos. So I don't know what's going on. I don't know when everything's going to be posted. I can only guess and judge and figure things out. But I really do hope that you guys enjoy these. That they mean something to people. That they teach something to people. And yeah. So you guys take it easy. I'll see you guys in a bit. There will always be people that tell you you can't do it, that you aren't worth it, that you'll never become what you say you will. And in some sense, they're right. But here's what I've learned. You mold the world into whatever you want it to be. If you want to be the kind of person that people look up to, you do the work. You build that version of yourself. Don't wait for anyone to hand you the keys, because no one's coming. They're right if you let them be right. So prove them wrong. Prove them all wrong. These vlogs are a blueprint, a man on a journey to show the world that one shift in mindset can change the life he lives. And if you're still here, watching me grow, you already know how this ends. So thanks for watching. If you could, just leave a like, a comment, or even a share. It keeps me going. And I'll see you guys next time in the archives of a Shiba Millionaire.